Hey there. So today we are going to multiply 2.5 times 3.5. And here's the most common mistake. People are going to tell me that it is 6 1/4, but it is not 6 1/4. It's easy to think 2 times 3 is 6, and a half times a half is a fourth, but you're actually missing part of the problem if you do that. So to see which parts we're missing when we get 6 1/4, which it's not, let's draw a picture, of course. And you should be drawing this picture too. Grab your paper, pause the video, grab some paper. So I'm going to say this square is 1. So if I am drawing an area model, I want to go over 2, and there's my 2. 2 1/2. Okay, 2 1/2 across. And then, of course, I'm going to have to go 3 1/2 down. So there's 2 more that'll make 3. So feel free to pause the video so that you can catch up with your drawing. You do want to draw this. It will make a lot more sense if you do the drawing instead of just watching me. Okay, so I've got 2.5 over. I've got 3 down. I still need my half down, so I'll add my half in there. Okay, so now I've got a big rectangle. It's 2.5 by 3.5. So right in the middle here, not the middle, the great biggest rectangle, 3 times 2, that's the 6 part, right? That part's pretty easy to think about. 2 times 3 is 6. And down here in the corner, we've got 1/2 times 1/2, and that's 1/4. So that's where people get the 6 1/4, because the 2 times 3 is 6, the half times half is a fourth. But we're missing 2 big sections there. You see the 2 sections that aren't colored. We haven't accounted for that part of our rectangle yet. So let's get another color, and let's do the 3 times the half. 3 times the half is 3/2. Oops, I don't want to green it. I want a blue pen. 3 times a half gives me 3/2, which is also equal to 1.5. So my big green part there is 1.5. So I know it's more than 6 1/4 already, right? Because there's at least another 1.5. Down at the bottom, I've got a half times 2. Color that pink. 2 times a half, 2/2, that makes 1. So I've got a 6. I've got a 1 in the pink. I've got 1.5 in the green, and a fourth in the yellow. We'll label these to be clear about what we've done so far. And now I need to add them all up, right? So 6 plus 1 plus 1.5 plus the 1/4. Now with adding fractions, I do need common denominators. So I know that 1/2 is 2/4. So I can add the 2/4 and 1/4. So I get 3/4. The 6 and the 1 gives me 8. So actually 8 3/4, not 6 1/4. So there's another way to think about this without drawing out the area model that's probably easier to do, especially if it's a complicated thing to draw. But you want to make sure you understand the picture. If you don't understand that picture, then take a look at it now. So I'm taking my 2.5 and I'm changing it to an improper fraction. 2.5 is 5/2, and 3.5 is 7/2. And then I can just multiply them straight across. 5/2 times 7/2 is 35/2. Sorry, 35/4, because 2 times 2 is 4. 35 over 4 means 35 divided by 4, so I'm dividing the 4 into 35. 8 times 4 is 32. I've got 3 left. Those 3 left, we're still wanting to divide them by 4, so we end up with 3/4. So 8 3/4 again. It matches. That's always a good sign that we've done it right if we do it twice and we get the same answer. So 2.5 times 3.5 is actually 8 3/4. You've just got to make sure that you do all of the parts. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.